Hello and welcome. I'm Maria Ressa. This is #WeDecide, the first 100 days of Isko Moreno Dumagoso. Hello, Isko. Nice to see you here.
Thank you. I'm honored and grateful to Rappler and to you to be here with you.
No, thank you for taking the time.
Thank you very much.
You know, we've watched you. You know what we've gone through. How would you convince me to vote for you?
Well, if you're tired of animosities among warring parties, and it seems that's the selling point of both biggest camp in the race. No? Accusation from one to each other. And if you want to get things done, I can do that. No.
And your track record, right? I mean, people look at what you've done in Manila.
Sa awa naman ng Diyos, modesty aside, it's a very challenging city, especially when the time I assume office, financially, physically. Tapos the impression ng negosyante sa Maynila is wala kaming certainty. We're not predictable on rules and regulations. We change things. But through some actions and ideas that we introduce, unti-unti kaming wala pa kami sa rurok ng tagumpay. But we managed to grow economically and the business are surviving. I cannot assume of nag-flourish yung business because of the pandemic nga. But I think at 7% loss in the business registration and 12% new business, that's a positive vibe. I think we survived.
And the biggest lesson that you will take to the presidency, ano yung natutunan mo?
Oh, certainty in rules, predictability, level playing field, that Corporation A will have such privilege, the same thing with Corporation B and C. You know, hindi na siya yung parang may konti kang killing na pinapaboran na kumpanya or tribo or geografiya. Yung pagka ganun kasi, gumaganda yung competition ng negosyo. And why am I after to that? Simply because growing up in a very challenging community, one of the key reason for us, no, yung matulak ka sa pader. Pag natutulak ang tao kasi sa pader, dahil wala nang opportunity, the tendency is mamayarwisyo ng kapwa. And having and making jobs available, mas mahina ang oportunidad na tumaas ang krimen. That's how I address criminalities in Manila. And I think records will show for the past years na ang trajectory ng criminality, despite of hunger, lack of opportunity, I mean, mahirap yung opportunity during the pandemic, we sustain a good level of crimes incident in the city of Manila. July 2019, 3 months akong umikot. Alam mo yung marketing rally. No?
Yes.
You try to sell the city's policy, programs, and direction. Sabi ko, I'm sorry. Humingi talaga ako ng tawad sa mga PCCI, FFCCI, Chamber of Commerce. I went to Makati and sabi ko, come back to Manila. And we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do this. And awa ng Diyos, nagbalikan ulit sila unti-unti. Hindi na kami warehouse. Dati naging tambakan na lang kami, naging bodega na lang kami. 18 years of poverty. No? Napagsama ko yung experience ko personal at yung experience ko sa paralan. So when we did it, unti-unti nagkaroon ng sense of belonging ang mga tao na uy, may bahay na kami, uy, may eskwelahan na kami, uy, maganda yung eskwelahan namin.
So let me ask you, you win. You're president.
Magdilang angel ka, Maria.
So it's your first 100 days.
One, definitely bureaucracy. Definitely. One of the key, if I may share it to you.
Please.
Noong pumasok akong mag-alkalde, I saw it for 20 years inside that building.
Heard you say that.
From councilor to
Yes,
vice
yes,
mayor.
yes.
So I saw who is asset and who is not.
You
Efficiency.
make it more efficient.
More efficient, yes.
Pero paano mo gagawin yon when everyone has a vested interest to...
The same thing in City Hall. Everyone has vested interest and it's institutionalized. Ay simple lang naman ang ginawa ko I got the best people kahit hindi ako binoto. When I say that, even department heads of former mayors of Manila, whom I think and I saw because of a 2-decade being in that building, kinuha ko yung magagaling. And the same thing that we're gonna do. We address bureaucracy, expedite everything, we need fast action on a particular task, then we put people based on merit. Not because katribo ko sila, o taga rito sila sa ganitong lugar, or kaklase ko sila. No, it's getting the right people in a particular task. That's what I'm gonna do in the next 100 days. Definitely. Because anumang Lamborghini man ang sasakyan mo, kung yung makina mo hindi maintenado, hindi rin yan tatakbo ng episyente. Yung gusto mong mangyaring bilis. The most challenging area in Manila, and this is on record, I think your reporter was there also, is a 15,000 obstruction in a 1.8 kilometer for 30 years existing. Everybody gave up with recto from Asuncion to Abadsang. So, sabi na, sir, napakahirap, sir. Ang dami nating babanggain. I think that's what your question is all about. Ang dami nating babanggain. You know, the people gave us 51%. And never in the wildest history ng Manila, for 3 serious corner fight, magbigay ng ganong mandato. Ibig sabihin, they really wanted to see things put in right perspective. Pag hindi tayo naging successful dyan, hindi na tayo magiging successful sa lahat ng kalye ng Maynila.
You took the toughest challenge.
Yes, and that's the first task.
Okay.
And modesty aside, 30-year problem, gone in 48 hours.
So let me ask you, like, you've also dealt with crisis. So let's do a scenario here where you've just taken your oath of office. You talked about how divided we are right now, right? So you took your oath of office, but now you've been told that the supporters of the front runner refuse to accept you as president, and you're in Malacanang. What actions are you going to take?
Well, I'll respect their views. They're
coming for you.
Like
We've done this before, like what happened with...
Militarily or armed?
You think EDSA 3, what Gloria Arroyo had to go through?
Well, I'll protect the Constitution.
So in that moment, Isko, what would you do?
I'll protect the country.
What orders will you give?
Well, of course, we'll try to listen and argue with them. Mahaba ang pasensya ko, Maria, sa totoo lamang. But if they will not, I have to do what I have to do. Really. Just to protect the interests of every Filipinos in these countries. Because that's what you call democracy. In democracy, 50% plus one lang.
So the last time we had a mayor who became president, the local experience didn't translate to the national stage as much, right? What, in managing crisis, what is the biggest priority for you? Like, where have you succeeded in managing crisis? Where have you failed?
Data. It's always about data. In a crisis, like there are playbooks in crisis. Bago mag-transfer yung virus, it takes weeks and weeks and weeks. In our case, it's a matter of hours, which did happen. So, ang ginawa natin, simple pa rin. In-adapt natin yung some rules on how to manage crisis. So, that's why ako, ang approach talaga is be there, wag kang absent, no? You focus, you sit with sensible people, and I talk to doctors. Because this is a health issue.
Yeah.
So immediately, every single day, 6 na direktor ng ospital, direktor ng MHD, tapos everyday, tapos kuha ng data, kumukuha ko sa NHI, sa yung ginagawa ni doktor nung Amerika, si Fauci. Tapos tinitingnan ko yung memoranda ng World Health Organization kasi whatever is happening in other part of the world, it may happen to us.
Yes.
Kaya we try to be ahead of the numbers in terms of capacity against infection. So worse did not come. Thank you very much.
How would you have done that at a national level?
Simple lang. I'll build more hospital that dedicated to COVID patient. The same thing we did with the Manila COVID-19 field hospital. So that we can continue to live normally. Not normal like the way it was before, but towards to that direction. Because quarantine, whether naubusan na nga tayo ng salita, di ba? ECQ, MECQ, GCQ, banana Q, barbecue, lahat na lang ng Q. So there's a balance between life and livelihood. So, if, I'll buy more medicines that are available in the world to survive every possible patient. Because there's a possibility that people will get infected. I'll buy more oxygens, equipments. Sort of saying, reinforcing your health sector, invest on it, at saka hindi ito yung mga, kailangan talaga medyo surgical, no? Ayoko naman husgahan ang ginawa ng ilang tao, but I'll buy on something that can save you. That is most important to me. Then, okay, we don't close shops. We must learn to live with it and go back to work safely.
How do you keep politics out of the task you want done? Because right now we have SARS upon SARS upon, how do you keep ego and politics out so that you can actually address a problem?
Again, I'll go back to the first answer on how we manage the city of Manila. We put right people in their field of undertaking, best in their field of undertaking.
So some of the candidates say that they're after unity, right? How do you do that when we're at this place where hate is actually a weapon of campaigns? It's used as a weapon of choice.
So my point is, yung away naman nila, hindi ako kasali. So ang gusto ko, kala ko ba gusto mo maglingkod sa taong bayan? Kaya mo sinuportahan yung kandidato ni Pula. Kaya mo sinuportahan yung kandidato ni Yellow Pink. No, let's come. Help me. I cannot do this alone.
Who are the people you would want?
Oh, people who believes in two heads are better than one. Ayoko ng BBS. Oh, yung believe na believe sa sarili. I really don't like those type of people. Kasi, maaring maganda yung intention mo, Maria. No? Technically, okay yan. But if you cannot, work within the system, hindi mo rin magagawa. Pero may mga tao naman, wala namang pinag-aralan or walang PhD, but who understand the people. So when you do that, when you work within the system, not outside the system, I think it would be better for everyone. Yun ang paniwala ko doon.
Pero Isko, if we look at our system today, it's so broken. You look at the impact of the pandemic. The rich got richer. We followed the rest of the world, by the way. We're not unique. The rich got richer, but the poor, we didn't pass Bayanihan 3, and that is the legislature you're working with. How will you change this? If you, again, as president, you will have a 12 trillion peso debt.
Katulad
diba?
ng sinabi ko sa iyo kanina, hindi ako magko-quarantine. I will reinforce everything with regard to how will I make you feel that you're working on a safe environment. I will achieve that. I'll go to that. I'll invest to that. Whether it is contact tracing, testing, I'll make it available to you. Then if you're sick, then there is a hospital bed waiting for you with a doctor and hopefully specialist like pulmonologist, infectious disease doctor. Tapos, 24 oras, binabantayan ka, sinusustinahan ka, at yung anak mo, asawa mo, pamilya mo, tuloy pa rin ang buhay nila. I was sent there by the British government and spoke with COBRA, or the Corona British Response. At kinuha ko talaga yung plano. Nagpaalam ako. Their plan is Code M. contain, delay, and mitigate. What's mitigate? Yung pala yung mitigate the socio-economic impact of the pandemic. That's why, nakita mo yung FSP na ginawa ng Manila, the Food Security Program. Yun yung cushioning.
So Putin invaded Ukraine. The world is upside down. There's talk of World War III.
Adik
The
yata ako sa
gasoline has
problema
gone up. How will you deal with this?
First things first. How can we survive? So everything now is possible. And any leaders, for that matter, should go after on food security. Lagi kong ginigiit. Yung mabigyan ng pagkakataon na kumita naman yung farmers. We prioritize our food production. We invest on our food security. Simply because pag dumating na yung panahon na yun at wala na tayong makain, baliwala ang pera. If we cannot feed ourselves and we continue to let the farming, the agriculture deteriorate the way last year the price of fertilizer is 900 or 1,000 pesos. Now it's 2,500, 2,600, 2,200. Then the price of palay and, you can check this. Yung sibuyas ng Nueva Ecija, hindi pa naani, halos hindi na nila maibenta. We've lost bawang in Northern Luzon. We've lost it. Napabayaan ng mga taong gobyerno sa Ilocos region yung bawang. What we're using right now is Taiwan garlic. Why? So, I think it's an awakening to us, o future leaders, na, teka muna, ano ba i-prioritize natin? Ang priority natin. Makisali tayo sa gera na may gera? O importanteng mabuhay tayo, resilient, sufficient, to live within these animosities or happening in the world?
Some of the reasons na napabayaan to, right, is because of preferential treatment for business, corruption.
Gusto ko yung word na yung preferential.
It's a nicer way of saying.
It's a very nice word.
But, how do you prevent that? Kasi if you are president, people will come to you. You give me this, I give you this. Ano yung paninindigan mo dito?
Hindi naman kaila na ako'y tumatanaw lagi ng utang na loob. It's an open secret that I value those people who helped me on the way up because I believe in some rules in life. Lalo na ako, Maria, I came from nothing, literally. Hindi ako pinagpala na magkaroon ng magulang na may gintong kutsara sa bibig. But there is what you call demarcation line.
Ano yun?
So, yung patas lang kayo. Walang mangagargabyado sa iyong gobyerno o parang nakita natulungan. Bahala ka magnegosyo. But what I'm after is those people who use power and be in the kitchen, and abuse such relationship to enrich themselves against the interests of the general population. That I cannot take.
Who are you talking of?
Whoever they are. Whoever they are in the future. But in my case, I have friends in Manila.
Yeah.
Tingnan mo, naalala mo yung kwento ko kanina, nagpunta ako sa mga FFCCI, PCCI. And I told them, FAR, for example, isa sa problema ng developer yan, floor area ratio, will liberalize the interpretation of the law. If there is an exemption, you follow the exemption, you'll be granted the opportunity in the city of. And I did not say that to X corporation. It is also made available to C corporation. That's why makikita mo ang Maynila ngayon, katakot-takot na crane. I mean, like development. We provided jobs during the pandemic, not only because in-stimulate ng gobyerno yung job availability, but the private sector na nakapaghanap buhay muli. So, meron pa rin naman ako. Takot pa rin naman ako sa Diyos. Huwag kang mag-alala, Maria. Hindi pa rin ako, hindi ako perfecto, but I know where to put period in a sentence.
Okay. Now we have a question from a student at De La Salle University.
Hi, I'm Shannon Grace Solatan, currently in my third year studying legal management. Mayor Isko Moreno Dumagoso, you talk about the rule of law, stability, and bringing crime down. But in the past 6 years, hindi natin alam kung ilan ang naapektuhan ng giyera kontra droga ni President Rodrigo Duterte. What will be your attitude towards drug use and the drug trade?
We don't tolerate selling of drugs. We help drug addiction. Because it will destroy family. I saw it also. Masakit man sabihin, Maria, in real world, saan ka nakakita ng anak, hinuhulog yung tatay sa hagdanan. It happened. I saw it. But taking life, for me, medyo hindi ko pa kayang gawin yon. At sa awa naman ng Diyos, we found a way how to put things in order. And I told the policeman, pag nahuli niyong buhay, meron kayo sa akin porbetyo. Because we have resources to put things, to support them. Basta hanggat maaari. And there was an incident early on. Tingnan mo Maria, mahaba kasi talaga ang pasensya ko. Sa totoo lang. O sabi ko doon sa isang lugar, umalis na kayo dyan. Okay? Mga kriminal. Isang area yon, on the early part of my term. Umalis na kayo dyan, I'll give you 72 hours. Gusto ko tumahimik na yung squatter area na yan. Some, listen, they change address. Well, my authority is over the city, so bahala sila. Baka pambuhay sila ng ibang buhay. But those who did not. Then, after X period, dala kami ng search warrant. Warrants that are existing. Hindi yung bigla ka na lang nagkaroon ng warrant isang araw, anong kasalanan ko? Hindi, naituro ka, drug addict ka eh. Itinuro ka lang. No. These are existing warrants, sleeping. I saw the data and implemented it. I can honestly say to you, 97% of them were alive. Caught, apprehended, alive. May dalawang lumaban. In the middle of the street. Hindi sa loob ng bahay. So, my point, in future tense, meron namang approach. Ang maganda lang, Maria, I grew up with them. I grew up with criminals. I grew up with drug addicts. I grew up with dealers. That's the life that I had nung bata ako. So kaya ako, hanggat maaari, minsan, modesty aside, minsan ako pa nga nagsasabi sa pulis, dito mo abangan. Dito yan pupunta. Ito ang magiging reaction niyan if we do this. If you are certain, at yung certainty na yan, applicable sa mahirap, sa middle class, sa mayaman, may kapangyarihan o wala. I think yun ang magti-trickle down naturally without instilling fear.
But you talk about justice like it actually works. You know, Isko, I've had 10 arrest warrants issued in 2 years, less than 2 years, in 23 months, diba? And I've been convicted in an RTC court in Manila.
Yes.
What happens when justice doesn't work and it's weaponized by those in power?
Yes, it can be, and maybe it's happening now as we speak. No? That's why, kapag nakikita rin ng mga institusyon, you as a leader, na you don't utilize such persuasive power over them, then naturally, papanatag sila, and they will do and follow what is technically written in our law.
Let me ask you, 36 years after people power, right? Filipinos actually got together in 1986 and ousted Ferdinand Marcos. 36 years later, Ferdinand Marcos Jr. is the front runner. Is
Oo nga eh.
the guy to beat for
Alam
you.
mo, Maria Ressa, may kinukwento ko sa mga tao. At ang tadhana talaga mapaglaro. Nung araw, nanonood lang ako sa speech ng tatay niya eh. Sa entablado eh. Kasi nagsasalita sa Tondo nung araw. Akalain mo ngayon, anak niya kalaro.
So paano to nangyari?
Hindi ko alam.
And how? So how? What? I guess now you also is a place where people can't tell what's real and what's a lie and what's a fact. Anong gagawin mo dito? What will you do?
That's why I'll go to the primary. I'll go after the primary education system. Na bata pa lamang. Ipinaalam na sa iyo ang tunay na kasaysayan. Baka lang nakaligtaan natin or somebody miss it during the time that they were given an opportunity to take the lead of the country. Wherein, wala na yan, talo na yan, hayaan nyo na sila. let's move on something. Forget about them. Sleeper cell. Alam mo yung sleeper cell,
Yes,
yung
of course.
concept?
Yeah,
Andiyan
yeah.
dyan lang pala yun, pero continuous lang na, di ba? I was asked by another TV station, and I said, away na naman? Si ganito na naman, laban sa ganito. Hindi ba pwedeng tayo naman ang mag-usap for our future? Parang, binigyan naman namin kayo ng pagkakataon nung araw bakit nyo pa yung pinabalik dito? If I'm going to ask that question to somebody, ba't nyo pa yung pinabalik dito? Hindi nyo lang pinabalik, pinalagay nyo pa, hinayaan nyo, natulog na lang kayo na mabalik sila sa gobyerno. Whose fault is that? I don't know.
You have a 10-point plan, and you're one of the few candidates that talked about technology. And this is part of the problem because social media has become a behavior modification system. It has changed
Gusto ko yun,
history.
Totoo yun. But I agree. To the viewers, I agree with Maria. Modification ng behavior ng tao na dadali ngayon.
It's part of the reason we can't tell fact from the lies. Why the lies are winning. Isa pa yun, the design of the platform actually spreads the lie faster and further. How would you handle that? I mean, what I've said all the time since 2016 is that we've asked for an end to impunity of Mark Zuckerberg, for example, right? We've asked for an end to impunity. So how will you handle this technology that has insidiously manipulated our minds?
In fact, it destroys countries already. But because of interference of this modern technology in the emotions and understanding and seeing the clear picture, wala, nawasa. That's why, in an interview, sabi ko, I'll go after them. If they will not put, which is available naman ito, make things real, like accounts, no? So I'll make everyone responsible. And that includes app provider. I'll teach them a very good lesson in under the rule of law. I'll go after them, make them, behave. May konti ka namang konsiderasyon. Be responsible naman. Alam mo namang ginagamit na yung platform mo para bang wala kaming pakialam sa inyo, Pilipinas, o wala kaming pakialam sa inyo, Syria, o wala kaming pakialam sa inyo, Somalia, bahala kayo magbarilan dyan, bahala kayo mag-away dyan. Di ba? Ginagamit yung platform mo. I'll go after them. If nagpabaya sila. But not closing them. Closing or close pag talagang bingi ka. So, one of the key is, okay, let's make this account legit. So, tuloy pa rin ang demokrasya.
When you say legit, you want their names.
Of
Is
course.
That it? Yeah.
Marami na bulag. Because there's too much smoke screen in the eyes of our. And that's what I'm worried. Kasi this is our life. 6 years of our lives. Our children's future. Can you imagine, we've voted, chosen through democratic processes on the premise of sinabi lang. Napanood ko lang. Oh my God. And that's what I'm worried. Not as a candidate, but as a citizen. No, kasi kailangan talaga, makaboto tayo noong hindi man perfect. Wala naman siguro, even myself is not a perfect person, the exact fit to the position. But those things, those people who can do the job and proven that they can do the job.
You've said that Marcos, the father, was a good leader. That you
At some point, yes,
Yeah.
I said that. Kasi
And
may
then-
kinokopya rin ako sa kanya.
Ano yun? Anong
Yung
ginagawa
housing.
mo? Okay.
May mga bagay akong,
That's a
like
70s.
Lee Kuan Yew,
Lee Kuan Yew. I've recognized that also.
Lee Kuan Yew,
HDB housing.
Martin Luther King,
Yeah.
some aspect, or when I said, di ba sinabi ko, walang babae, walang bakla, walang tomboy, I'm referring to when Lincoln said, all men are created equal. So may mga kinokopya ako kay Churchill, in times of crisis, you don't throw stones to every dog that barks. You focus. So may mga qualities of leaders in the past na pwede mong kapulutan ng aral. But you only choose the good one. And be reminded of the bad one.
So, sinabi mo rin madaming nabubulag ngayon. Are you talking about the front runner?
Hindi naman. Yung mga, nabubulag, baka iba nating kababayan. Uy, sino yung boboto mo? Si candidate A. Talaga? Alam mo, hindi ako yung nagtatanong. May nagtatanong lang. Pag bakit mo siya boboto? Then our fellow Filipino would have stop. Parang, kasi nakita ko sa YouTube yung tatay niya. Kasi yung tatay niya magaling. And they don't refer to candidate A, candidate B, candidate C on their specific proof of concept or wala. So naawa ko. Sa akin naman, Maria, with all honesty, and I've said this, after this, I'll retire.
You're very young.
Yeah, I'm very young, but modesty aside, half of my life was dedicated to public service. I started as in like zero idea on how the government works. But I have a full of idea on what is public service. But then again, I realized, no. Kailangan ko pala talagang academically equip myself. And I did. And I tried to be part of solution. Siguro it's time for me to pay what I owe to my kids and family because they are the number one victim of my dedication to you. Alam mo kung paano ko siya dinidefine sa buhay namin ng pamilya? May bubong ba tayo? Okay. Tumutuloy, hindi? Okay. May laman ba yung groceria? Yung, ano tawag yung pantry? Pumapasok ba yung bata? May driver ba? Meron bang allowance? Can you imagine that ganun kababaw yung pagtingin ko na basta maayos lang ang pamilya ko, okay na sila, then I'll focus on the problem of the people. And that's why you see me sunog and all other things. So, sort of saying, I want you to vote for me. I want you to support me as a citizen, no? Because inalay ko talaga sa'yo, pinagbuti ko trabaho ko. So that's what I'm trying to
So I
tell
want
the
to know,
people.
naman, how do you protect against your own weaknesses? It's great that you're pulling the best of each leaders that you've seen, right? But in the end, the ultimate test is your own character. How do you protect against your weaknesses?
Well, I think kung ang family is one of the weaknesses of every leaders. No? Kasi yun, kung di makapunta sa'yo, pupunta yan sa pamilya mo.
Oo.
Pero modesty aside, you can check. They never, ever naging participants in government service while I'm watching. Because it's a matter of rule and belief. No. Totoo yun. Talagang kaya yung mga anak ko, kahit yung panganay ko, maniniwala ka ba yung panganay ko? Tanungin ba naman ako, Papa, what's the job of the governor? That's how innocent. He's 23 years old. Governor's like mayor, but in a larger scale. So kasi nga, hindi talaga.
You keep it out.
So, kung yun ay weakness, then I think, para sa akin, madali ko siya ma-resolve. But one weakness that I have to be fair to you and to the viewers is yung pagtanaw ng utang na loob. Sinabi ko kanina. But again, papanatag naman sa akin ang taong bayan.
Ano yung limits nun?
Yun, papanatag naman sa akin ng taong bayan. Basta ikaw na ang tatamaan,
Ayun.
non-negotiable. Kaya makikita mo ko, kaya kong makipag-away, away na, in terms of belief, not away na basag,
Okay.
rambulan na lang tayo. Wala
And
na.
corruption, how do you deal with that?
We don't
How do you
tolerate.
stop? You don't.
We
Okay.
don't tolerate. So there's a balance on it.
So the
I
other
think,
the other question, because I've heard this several times, that some people will say that you're like a Duterte light. You're charming. You're more charming.
well,
but
one, I'll
Duterte
take
light.
it as a compliment. No? Why? He's a president now. Who would not want to be compared to a president?
This is not a compliment, though. This is more in abuse of power.
That's
How would you
that's a different, because I cannot be compared on somebody or anybody for that matter who abuse their power because, modesty aside, Maria, wala ka naman siguro na balitaan na nag-abuso ako ng kape. Because I have this kind of certain belief na I cannot be right all the time. I'm human being. I tend to make mistakes. And I've done a lot in my life. Kaya ang dami kong sugat sa tuhod. So, pag nadadapa ako, bumabangon, and try to improve myself, better myself. At all tasks, no? Yung career ng buhay ko. But the thing is, hindi ka man maging tama, but I will always be just.
Sana.
That I can do.
And you don't think power will get to your head? Yeah.
Na sample na binigay ko sa iyo, di ba? Pag titingnan mo, hindi ko siya hinayaan na makapangdaya ng kaunti, mapaboran ng kaunti, pero tinulungan ko siya nang hindi ko binabiolate yun. Ang tawag ko doon, just trying to be makatwiran. Nilingong kita, Brad, pero hindi ko naman to inabuso yung nasa kanan ko. So, just being just. Kasi God is always right. And I'm no God. Yun lang ang sa kalye. Kumbaga, Diyos lang ang laging tama. No? Kaya inisip ko na lagi, magkakamali ako. Now, if I'm going to make a mistake, can I rebound? And that kind of mistake is to destroy your life. I hope not. I will not cross that line.
The beating that the media has taken. What kind of relationship, I guess, is what you, as president, what would you do? What would the relationship with the media be? Friends?
Ako, I tried to be fair with them by telling them things off the record. Straightforward. For example, let's just say it's Rappler here. Pia is with us. I tell her, Pia, off the record to, ha? This is what we're gonna do. Ganyan. I'm gonna tell her. Para hindi lang siya ligaw. This is what we think. Pero hindi ko pa yan masabi. Kasi gagawin pa lang namin. Di ba? So I try to be fair to them as much as possible. But there are things in life, na it may do more harm than good. But when you try to level up with them, at least, pag nagsasalita ka in front of a lens, which they hold, in front of a recorded phone, at least alam nila, ito half-truth. Alam nilang half-truth. There is truth in it, but they know for a fact, okay, siguro medyo hindi pa hilaw o hindi pa hinog para sabihin. Yes, we do that. I do that. I do that to Pia, I do that to somebody. Para lang alam nila na hindi ka nasa dilim.
You know, appointments I asked you in your first 100 days, diba?
Yeah.
Who were you talked broadly that you would pull the best people for each job.
I have somebody in the yellow.
Would you name names?
No. Kawawa naman. Baka mag-create lang ng animosities among them. I have somebody, two. Medyo kipa. Yeah.
So competence and you, these are all,
They brought an industry in the country that our country today continue to enjoy.
Okay.
Can you imagine that? He started it.
Okay.
At least, limitawa na lalaki. Yes, I have somebody there, and I have somebody very old on the other side, on the red sa pulahan. I have my own. I have my team. I have people in private sectors that I would ask them to resign in their corporation because I do believe, this guy is a finance guy. He managed to grow such corporation fiscally, then I'll put them in PhilHealth. The way I promised the Filipino people, we'll put financial people in PhilHealth. Not doctors, not other careers, but financial guy because it's money management. It's not health management. It's money management.
No. So I want to end this with, I guess, asking you how you see the Philippines today and what you would do to deal with it. Because it's, to many Filipinos, it's bleak, it's hard, right? How would you describe it today, and then how would you deal with it?
Well, it's easy to say that we can be a Singapore. But Singapore is a very small
5 million
country,
people versus 100 million.
It's manageable. Yeah. But there's no harm in achieving or trying to achieve what Singaporean achieve. Kasi sila yung pinakamalapit sa atin at sa kasaysayan, pinakadugyot. Ang Singapore is sa pinakadugyot na bansa. So coming from Smoky Mountain, cut the long story short, no matter what happened in the past, they achieve it. So hindi na siya imposible. In our case, it's medyo malaki, but I think the first 2 years matter most to me of that 6 years mandate, which is paano tayo makatatawid sa pandemyang nito. While we aspire of better things, good things, kapag gutom ang tao, namatay ang tao sa sakit. Baliwala lahat yan. There's nothing to govern if your people are dying. So, I'll go back to basic. Tawid lang kita. Tawid ko lang na kayo may hanap buhay in the next 2 years of that 6 years. Hopefully, mas ano pa. Pero ayokong sikipan ng siko ko eh. No? Na in the next 2 years, life and livelihood. You go to work, make a living. Tapos, healthcare system is reinforced. Tapos, hanggat maaari, mag-future-proof na tayo. Unless, hindi mo nakita yung hirap ng buhay, so you cannot adapt and, innovate. Magiging passive. And I don't like passive people, with all honesty. Gusto ko talaga yung, let's continue to do things surgically, efficient, sa life and livelihood. Yun ang gusto ko makita sa bansa natin in the first 2 years of that 6 years. After that, come, let's go to Mars. Let's go somewhere else. Let's dream of and aspire for more things. But for now, tao muna.
Fantastic.
Pabuhay lang muna yung tao.
Thank you, Isko. Thank you so
Thank
much.
Thank you.
This is #WeDecide, the first 100 days of Isko Moreno Dumagoso. I'm Maria Ressa. Thank you for joining us.